You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.
Bitcoin, Ether, Solana, Doge, and more. Cryptocurrencies and digital assets are taking the financial world by storm. This exploding market provides everything a savvy trader needs: volatility, volume, and liquidity, provided you know how to find it. That's where we come in. Welcome to the Crypto Rundown. Each week, we'll break down the latest trading activity, trends, and developments throughout the world's leading crypto derivatives markets. If it's moving the crypto markets, then you'll find it on the Crypto Rundown. The Crypto Rundown is brought to you by Amber Data. If you're entering the digital asset class, you'll need access to granular on-chain and market data from multiple venues to power research, trading, risk management, and compliance. Amber Data delivers comprehensive data and insights into blockchain networks, crypto markets, and decentralized finance, empowering financial institutions to apply traditional finance methods to digital assets. Amber Data eliminates the infrastructure setup, integration challenges, and maintenance headaches to access digital asset data, reducing cost and time to market to enter the digital asset class. Learn more and download their digital asset data guide at www.amberdata.io. Now it's time to dive into the exploding world of crypto derivatives. It's time for the Crypto Rundown.
Just a quick note on this episode. Our guest was having some technical issues, so you may hear a few dropouts and a few other things along the way. Our editors tried to clean it up as best we could. It's not terrible, listeners, but we just wanted to let you know ahead of time. All right, everybody, that music means we are back. Once again, it is Monday. It is 2 p.m. Central. It is 3 p.m. Eastern. Do you know what's going on in the world of crypto? Well, let's find out together, shall we? It is time once again for the Crypto Rundown. My name, of course, Mark Longo from theoptionsinsider.com, as well as from the network upon which so many of you folks are binging these days. Couple reminders here at the top of the show. First off, make sure you're subscribed to the full network wherever you're getting these podcasts. And then, of course, if you want to go above and beyond, awesome pro Q&As, another Vol Deathmatch coming up because you folks like the first one so much. Where do you get all that fun? The month's almost over. Get your name in the hat, theoptionsinsider.com/pro. You too can win the October Pro Trading Crate, Options Oddities. Just had a fun alert in between the shows talking about some interesting trading ideas. TheOptionsInsider.com/pro is the place to go as we go around the horn and see who's joining us on this Crypto Monday. I'm pleased to be joined once again by our old buddy. We haven't chatted with him in a while. Mr. Bill, a.k.a. Bill Ulivari from Senecal Capital Management. Mr. Bill, welcome back to the show, sir. How are things in Mr. Bill land?
Things are fabulous, Mark. I'm living my best life, watching so many interesting things. World of crypto, watching the VIX move like a madman, just jumping into the deep end of the pool, as you would say.
Spoken like a true premium harvester out there. All right, sir. With the team assembled, let's dive on into a little bit of the old Bitcoin breakdown.
It's time to explore the latest trending activity, trends, and developments across the world's leading crypto market. It's time for the Bitcoin Breakdown.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Bitcoin Breakdown, the portion of the show where we do just that. We break down all the action in the world's leading digital asset. We're talking about the big dog, which is Bitcoin, looking a little bit bigger since our last show. We were flirting around the 110 level last show, 110,843 to be precise. Coming into the start of the show today, almost 5,000 handles to the north, 4638 to be precise. That gets us to 115,481 right as we kicked off the show. So a little bit of a lift, a little bit of upside going on. But Mr. Bill, we haven't chatted with you in quite some time, since July. So a lot's gone on in the Bitcoin world since the last time we chatted, including a few highs, then coming back down some lows, and then a lot of new issues and offerings to sink our teeth into as well. What's catching your eye in the world of the big dog BTC these days, sir?
What's catching my eye Mark, is, well, a few things. Our Bitcoin versus gold is currently negative. Got a sell signal of Bitcoin versus gold, which is interesting. And what's also catching my eye is the fact that there are so many Bitcoin Treasury companies, companies you haven't heard of that are trading for a penny dollar. Our Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, XRP, they're holding it on the balance sheets of the corporation as an asset. And I find that still incredibly interesting. And honestly, since we're in the options world, we love leverage. And these small companies are leveraging their balance like MicroStrategy did, and Michael Saylor. That's where I find myself spending a lot of time. Bitcoin Treasury companies, Ethereum Treasury companies.
New one coming on our radar today. Maybe we'll get to that one in a little bit in our top 10 on the options trading. Yet another new Bitcoin Treasury name that no one knew existed. At least a lot of people didn't know existed until this week. So a lot of wild stuff out there. Let's just clarify for our listeners, Bill. You mentioned your Bitcoin gold indicator. You said it's time to sell. So sounds like it's time to sell Bitcoin, or are we selling gold and keeping Bitcoin? What are we selling in that indicator?
Well, we do. It's a flipping of we flip it. It's a relative strength calculation. So we used to do only Bitcoin versus gold. Now we kind of sneak a little bit into LC, which is scaled large cap, which has 5 cryptocurrencies in it. And now we're looking at the Bitwise, which has 10 cryptocurrencies inside their ETF. And so currently we got a sell signal in crypto versus gold. We got the sell signal in August 18th, I believe it. And so we sold our Bitcoin, and that just means still Bitcoin, and we rotate into gold. And we hold that gold is like a money market. It's like our safe haven because gold is relatively predictable compared to cryptocurrency. And then, so we hold on to gold until we get a relative signal reversal. Even got back into Bitcoin and crypto. So interesting, I'm not quite sure how to really read and assess what's going on, because just at a time when we're probably global liquidity expand, we have low interest rates on Powell, we have the market at all times. I think that Bitcoin, which is my most risk on asset, would be in a positive relationship with gold, and it's not.
Yeah, a lot of wild stuff to unpack out there. But you mentioned the proliferation of Bitcoin Treasury. This was something that was going on the last time you and I chatted, but of course it's kind of gone to the next level now. We have so many new names. It seems like maybe you and I, since the last time we chatted, maybe you and I have launched a Bitcoin Treasury name. I don't know, Bill. But it's just so many people seem to be launching these Bitcoin Treasury startups, call them what you will, ventures out there. A lot of them going deeper and deeper onto the leverage front, more and more leverage. Like I said, we have this new one popping on our radar out there today. Well, maybe it's not new to you listeners, but it's new to a lot of people out there. This is Strive Inc., a ticker symbol AST, A-S-S-T, popping 65 cents or 60% right now, trading $1.75 out there. So there's putting up over 1.5 million contracts in the equity options market today, putting it at the number 3 spot last time I checked today. So there's still a lot of paper in this space, Mr. Bill. What are your thoughts? We also, since the last time we chatted with you, saw a few liquidations that maybe spook some folks. Do you think we've maybe reached peak Bitcoin Treasury? And does it concern you, all these highly levered names holding a bunch of Bitcoin, that when we get a little bit of a downtick, that could be a catalyst that pulls us down a bit?
Well, Mark, I think, our experience from the trading floor that, the market always does what it's supposed to do, but not when it's supposed to do it. And stocks are supposed to go up during earnings and they don't. We're like, hey, what's going on with that? Or when the market is supposed to rally in the face of positive news and it doesn't, you're like, hey, something's not right here. And so I say, I'm wearing that hat right now. Something's not right. Why with everything that's going for us in terms of administration, interest rates, global liquidity, money supply, debasement of currency, all-time highs in the S&P 500, all-time highs in the NASDAQ QQQ. I just don't understand why, like at 250,000 in Bitcoin, I say to myself, oh, what's going on here? How come we're not going anywhere? We're we were talking about above 125 like a year ago. Like, what happened? It's just not. I don't know. It's I'm a little bit perplexed. I'm not going to lie to you. And here, gold of all things, like, what is that? Where it come from? This rally and pedals just blew away.
All right, a lot to get to here on the show. What are your thoughts, listeners? Have we reached peak Bitcoin and indeed ETH Treasury? I shouldn't leave ETH out of that list as well, because there's more than a few ETH Treasury names out there right now as well. But let's run through some of the specs out there in the market. There's certainly a lot. Remember, you can check all this out for yourselves. Amberdata.io, the place to go to kick the tires and light the fires. No excuse these days, listeners. That graphical interface is completely free out there. So by all means, listeners, check it out. Amberdata.io or pro.amberdata.io if you want to go hardcore out there. If you did that, you would see, listeners, that the weekly vol right now, we've been talking for a while, is kind of anemic. It got a little bit of a pop on our last show, coming back to earth. It was a 42.7 on the last show, 39 this week. A 30-day vol, same trajectory, 44 and a quarter last week, 40 and a half this week, so coming in nearly 4 points. And then going out to where the hodlers hang out, 47 and a quarter on our last show, 45 and 3/4 this show. So again, vol coming back to earth a little bit, which might be a little bit alarming because it didn't have much room to go to begin with. It's already been hanging out pretty low for some time, but apparently there is more downside to go, which again, we always say, make sure the juice is worth the squeeze when you sell it. Not to say it's not worth selling when it's low, because sometimes it can hang out at these low levels for some time, and it has been doing that for the last few months out here in Bitcoin vol. Let's go out to skew land and see what the options are telling us from a skew perspective in Bitcoin right now. Last week, the skew was predominantly skewed, pun intended, towards the negative. For understandable reasons, we were threatening 110,000 at the time out there, listeners. Now that we are rallying, we are seeing a lot of that skew shift back towards the upside, or I should say really less bearish at the end of the day. The weekly skew, -5 on our last show, -2 this week. The monthly skew was a full-on -4.15 on our last show, back up to -1 and a quarter. So still negative, but only ever so slightly. I consider anything really plus or minus 1 to be pretty much flat, listeners. And going out to where the hodlers hang out, it was -1.5. We were talking about that with Greg on the show last week, and he was maybe looking to take advantage, I should say, of some of those opportunities out there in the skew. If that was the case, a lot of that has vanished now. It's only -0.6 out there. So anything that isn't a positive upside bid in longer term skew is certainly interesting out there. And we are still slightly bearish out there where the hodlers hang out. Let's keep on rolling. A lot of you hang out in other products as well. And Bill, this is another trend that's really come on since the last time we chatted. IBIT has always been popular, but it's taken another leg up in terms of options popularity in particular since the last time you and I chatted. It is now threatening 1 million contracts a day. The ADV is 980,000 contracts in IBIT. Absolutely wild stuff out here. Listen, that's up another 32,000 since our show last week. Doesn't seem like we're going to get there today, but that is a pretty lofty level. 660,000 contracts on the tape at the start of the show. And by the way, if you're wondering, that vol, listeners, down 4 points from where we were this time last week at about a 42. So again, coming in pretty much in line with what we're talking about here on the Deribit options as well. In fact, as Greg pointed out, Deribit used to be the volume leader. These kind of numbers in IBIT is kind of the volume leader now. So I think IBIT is now the big dog out there in terms of Bitcoin options action. If you're wondering what is lighting up the tape out there today, listeners, it's our old pal, the 67 calls expiring this week, going up 37,000 times today. This is all opening paper. Looks like paper mostly lifting offers for around 52 cents. So 67 calls. We're hanging out right around 65 and a half to start the show, up 2.5 points from where it was this time last week. So can we kiss a 67 handle by the end of the week and then get 52 more cents, listeners? Sounds like some folks are rolling those dice. And then number 2, we have 28,000 of the 66 puts expiring next week. November 7th puts, 66 puts going up today for $2. These are kind of juicy out here, listeners. So again, they are about half a buck in the money, so just bear that in mind. That's your hot options out here. Mr. Bill, what's catching your eye out there in the world of Bitcoin vol and skew, or indeed what's catching your eye out here in the hallowed halls of IBIT these days, sir?
Well, we're doing a lot of IBIT trading. We're doing a lot of cash secured puts in IBIT. And again, one of the things I love most about being on your show, Mark, is that you give me great trading ideas for my clients. And so we've been selling option premium in Bitmine Immersion, BMNR, which has huge implied volatility. We've been doing Circle options, the Circle Internet Group, CRCL. We still have been doing, some Coinbase and MicroStrategies, but those are actually looking like, old school option, like GE and Ford. Like, what's the point? Like MicroStrategies, which used to be the top dog, now seems to be, on the down low side of their implied volatility. We're doing the other big names, AppLovin, APP. We've been selling option premium there, and these things are they're just all over the place. It's insane of some of these option premiums, and so we've been looking at those, Mark. And again, can't wait to hear some ideas from you to come at sometime during the show.
We like luring you to the dark side here on the show. Yes, Circle, Mara, BMNR, a lot of fun stuff to sink our teeth into here on the show. Speaking of Mara, Mara hanging out about $20 right as we kicked off the show, down about 1.25 points, even though it was looking lower earlier today. So getting some of that luster back. Putting up 183,000 contracts today. So actually kind of light compared to what we've seen in the past. The ADV is 450,000 contracts. So that's actually down slightly, about 34,000. But Mara, I've been saying for a while, it's kind of been a fun wheel candidate. Not as much lately. It's kind of been whipsawing around a little more. But if you're okay with that vol, it could still be an attractive wheel trade for you. Looks like the hot option out there in Mara today, about 16,000 of the 20 calls expiring this week. Average price for these, about 80 cents, looks like. So it looks like maybe some folks rolling the bones. I mean, Mara's rallied that much already today out there, so they're probably looking pretty good on those calls that they bought them earlier today. But interesting stuff. Are you out there still slinging Mara, listeners, or have you maybe stepped away from it a little bit with all this recent vol, or are you back in doubling down your efforts? Hit us up, let us know. As we keep on rolling, it is time to venture into the altcoin universe.
It's time to move beyond Bitcoin and find out what's moving the rest of the crypto marketplace. It's time to boldly venture into the Altcoin Universe.
All right, everybody, let's get down to business in the altcoin universe. Let's kick things off in the top 10 as we like to do out here. Then we'll go from there, listeners. Last week, it cost you about $23.6 billion with a market cap to break into the top 10. That got you to our old pal Cardano. This week, things are a little bit higher, $24.4 billion. Still gets you to Cardano at the number 10 spot. Number 9, Tron, maybe coming back down off the hype or lack thereof from the movie. $28.4 billion. So exactly $4 billion separating number 10 and number 9 this week, which is kind of interesting. Number 8, Doge, popping a little bit again this week, $31.1 billion. Number 7 is USD Coin, $76.2 billion. Number 6, it's Solana, back above the 200 strike, listeners, coming in at $111.5 billion. Number 5 is BNB, $158.4 billion. Number 4, it's XRP. Yes, number 4. That's why Bill hasn't been on in a while. He's been too sad about XRP. 269 when we ran this number earlier today, listeners. 161.5 billion worth of market cap. That means number 3 is Tether again. Tether has kicked XRP to the number 4 spot. Tether coming in 183.1 billion. Number 2, it's ETH. 510 billion worth of market cap. And the big dog, BTC, 2.3 trillion worth of market cap. So it took a little bit of a hiatus in the intervening week, listeners, but now ETH's back above 4,000. All is right with the world. We were 39.62 on the last show. 42.19 this week, up about 257 handles from where we were this time last week. Mr. Bill, ETH's been on a wild roller coaster ride since the last time we chatted. What caught your eye out there in the number 2 crypto assets?
Well, it's really interesting, Mark. I went to a investment advisor seminar hosted by our friends at Bitwise. And again, it was for investment advisors. And I walked away with a greater perspective and respect for the Ethereum network as basically a layer one network, and how XRP is competing with Ethereum, and how all these tokens are kind of competing with each other. Ethereum was met with a tremendous amount of respect and positivity going forward as Solana. And I just found it really interesting. And again, despite sometimes when you look at these technicals and we're disappointed perhaps by the price action of all the tokens, like especially Ethereum. I mean, we're saying we're still below our 22 high of 4,600 Ethereum. And again, like what's happened in the last 4 years that crypto really hasn't taken off, altcoins haven't really taken off. So I walked away with being disappointed with Ethereum as a whole concept, thinking it was going to get outpaced by other tokens coming up behind them. I think I have a new appreciation for Ethereum Treasury companies like BMNR and others. So even I can't let price performance dictate my appreciation and hope for the future of these tokens, if that makes sense. And Ethereum is definitely one of those. We're still so new. We're still so early.
Bill's drinking the ETH Kool-Aid, so you're back on. You're back on the boat.
I'm back on.
I gotta admit that Kool-Aid's tasty these days.
100%.
It's gotten tasty again. It wasn't tasting too good earlier this year, but that Kool-Aid tasting a little bit better these days. Listeners, let's break down some of the other assets. Well, before we get there, let's break down some of the vol and the skew out here in ETH land, listeners. ETH vol coming in a little bit as well, 68.5 on the weekly vol front, 65.8 this week. Going out to monthly vol, also coming in 70.5 on the last show, 66.5 this week. So coming in 4 points there. And going out to the Hodler land 180-day vol, 69 on the show last week, 68.5. So pretty much in line this week. Skew-wise, also seeing a bit of a tonal shift out here this week. Last week, it was all pretty much negative. Understandable. We broke through the 4,000 level. It's gonna trigger some bears out there. Last week, it was almost a -5 on the weekly skew, -4.8. This week, that's pretty much gone, -0.6. So pretty much flat. 30-day skew was -2.5 on the show last week, -3/4 this week. So also kind of falling within the realm of flat. And going out to where the hodlers hang out, it was +2 on the skew front last week. This week, +2.25. So actually ticking up a little bit. So our little sojourn north of 4,000 seems to have awakened some of the hodlers out there. Speaking of awakening some folks out here, some of these other products Bill's alluding to have had some interesting runs out here as well. A good old BMNR, as of coming into the start of the show, 54.5, up nearly 2 points this week, 1 3/4 points, putting up nearly 300,000 contracts a day. That's down about 31,000 from our last show, but still pretty decent paper out there. Looks like they might threaten that today, 223,000 contracts on the tape for BMNR. By the way, if you're wondering, the vol out there, pretty spicy, 109% out there, listeners. So again, these names are not for the timid if you're slinging options on them. By the way, if you're wondering what are the hot options in BMNR today, it's the OX60s expiring at the end of the week. So fully $5.50 out of the money calls. Average price for these, 45 cents. So yeah, these are pretty rich. That's about a 100 vol, listeners. If you're down for a little bit of a run, and that's actually a heck of a run this week, then maybe you like these, 45 cents. If not, maybe sold to you. Number 2, we have 15,000 of the double calls, 55 calls going up today. Average price for these, $1.59. So it's like if you wanted to do that vertical, you could do it, listeners, for about $1.14, $1.15. So maybe something to bear in mind. Maybe like that payoff diagram a little bit better. I certainly do than just straight buying the 60s. Mr. Bill, you mentioned you've been trading BMNR. What have you been up to out there, sir?
Well, again, we throw up a set of Bollinger Bands on our ThinkPipes platform. And currently we have a position. So we sold the ACA 31 puts. I'm sorry, the 31 30 strike puts. They're 32 cents now, but we sold them the other day for $1.20. I think we sold them on Thursday because I like to roll on Thursday before expiration. So, I mean, in terms of percentages, I'm really happy with the outcome. I mean, in terms of our overall theta, when we came in for our client accounts, we were collecting $8,100 a day in theta. We captured a lot of that already today since it's 225, and again, we're collecting $6,300 of that, and in ETHA and the Ethereum ETH. Our theta is about $550, and so this is on a 66 lot of the October 31 30 puts. So again, we are a cash secured put group. I mean, this is what we do the most of, and depending on your account size, we're collecting between $850 and maybe 150 of theta each day. But again, we're focusing on positions in ETHA and in Circle, MicroStrategy, SMR. BMNR, so like all the hot stuff, and our overall beta of the portfolio is still not as high as you would think. So far so good. These tokens, which our clients, they I guess I'd say they tolerate my enthusiasm in their portfolio. But we're also doing old school stuff, Amazon, and we'll poke our eye like IBM and Honeywell and other company, Pfizer. So we mix the old and the new, and you can't ignore and turn away. At least I can't turn away from 100 vols in an asset class that I believe in, like Ethereum. So you pick your spots, put up a set of Bollinger Bands and relative strength, and when you're at the low end of the range, just sell some at the money puts. Not financial advice, okay? Even though we're financial advisors, but yeah, I mean that's where we're picking up our alpha for our clients, and there's some incredible opportunity. I mean, we saw the VIX go from 28 to 15 in like 6 trading days. I mean, it's incredible opportunity out there, Mark. Really, this is a trader's dream of the bell curve to buy and sell. It really is. This is an incredible market.
There's a wild market out here, listeners. Indeed. Let's check a few more. Speaking of wild, Mr. Bill, a couple of hot ones here. I know Greg's been talking a lot about good old Circle of late. Sounds like you're intrigued by this one as well. I think he called it the Netflix of the stablecoin platforms. He really has high hopes for this one. It's had a good run. Maybe folks heard him talking it up on the show last week. It's up about 14 handles, trading 142.5 right now at the start of the show. So a hot day out there in Circle land. If you were selling puts in Circle, you're a happy camper right now, listeners. Putting up 77,000 contracts today, so kind of light volume. The ADV is 123,000 contracts a day. That's up 12,000 contracts from this time last week. And if you're wondering what is the vol in Circle right now, at a 98. So again, still some decent juice. You mentioned at the top of the show, Circle. I know you and I had some fun selling puts in here earlier. Has that still been your approach, Mr. Bill? You still selling puts in Circle, sir?
Oh, 100%, 100%. So I look at the Bollinger Bands and relative strength, and in addition to that, I look at old school point and figure charts, and the 10-week moving average for Circle puts it at the middle of the bell curve, like fair value at around $136. So if you look at the chart pattern of Circle, you'll see that it sold off from 160, 158 down to 124. It put in a little bit of consolidation between 140 and 124, and we just broke out the other day above 136. So I will sell an at the money or slightly out of the money put, and it's now we're short the 130s. I have an order to cover these because when I achieve an 80% success rate in an option, so if I sell something for $1 and it's trading 20 cents, I take it off the sheets. There's no more juice left in the squeeze for the option. So we're working the buy to close some our position. But yeah, I mean, whatever discipline, technical analysis, whatever works for you, like the option premium, in my personal opinion, it supports kind of technical strategy. Do MACD, relative strength, 5-day, 10-day, 7-day, whatever you want. Bollinger Bands, 1 standard deviation, 2 standard deviations, point and figure charting, whatever you want. Swing trading. There is opportunity in all these tokens. I mean, at least for the time being. And maybe that party will end in 6 months as we get into the midterm election decline that we always seem to kind of get. But I mean, in terms of where are you going to pick up alpha? Where are you going to pick up value as a investment advisor or as a trader for your own account? Yeah, I mean, just even a 1% or 2% position will pay off, I think, in my opinion, big dividends. And when I say dividends, I mean option income and Theta. Yeah, Mark, I mean, we're doing it. And listen, it's not easy. I mean, we've seen the volatility in Bitcoin. We've seen the volatility in the market. We see volatility in BMNR and CRCL. I mean, it's crazy, but that's why we're here. We're here to capture volatility, and we should be running into the fire. If the building's on fire, you have to run into the building like a fireman and save the occupants. When this market's on fire, you have to step up and you have to gird your loins biblically and go in there and sell some puts, right? I mean, that's what we're here for. And that's why we listen to the channel. That's why we, love the, the content that you're providing, because you're giving us the courage and the faith and the confidence to trade this, because it's all about the bell curve, man. It's all about implied volatility.
I love it.
And
you see the burning building, listeners? Run straight into the flames. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing here on the show this week, listeners. Speaking of the flames, Mr. Bill, this last name is kind of just a wild one. Came across our radar, I'd say about a month ago. We've been watching it. Some folks in our audience were looking to trade straddles and sell out the money options on it. This is ETHZilla, trading $20.50. So if that sounds rich, we talked about it last week. Just completed its 10-for-1 reverse split last week. It's had a good run since then. It dipped down to about $15 on Tuesday of last week. And since then, it's run all the way up to 2067. So a nice little run in ETHZilla, living up to its name, including a nice leg up on Friday from about 1860 to about 22. So heck of a lift out there in ETHZilla. So those of you who are out there maybe playing the fade game on ETHZilla, at least for right now, it's looking pretty good out there. Putting up about 13,000 contracts today. So again, kind of light. The ADV is about 25,000 contracts a day. So you can get some stuff off out here. It's probably about the similar liquidity to what we're seeing in products like SVIX that we talk about all the time on Volatility Views. If you're wondering, the vol still spicy, 117%, up another 15 points from this time last week. Mr. Bill, is ETHZilla on your radar, or have we just given you a new put-selling name, sir?
Okay, you might as well have just dropped off like drugs on my front step. I mean, look at this thing. It's up 15% today.
Yes.
The NOV 21-20 call. The spread width is a bit wide for me. I mean, it's 45 cent wide, 55 cent wide. Open interest 600 on the November 21st 20 line. I'm not sure yet, Mark. I will definitely put it in my list of ones to watch. I'm going to add it to my symbol list right now so I don't forget it. But I really thought that you were making a joke when you said ETHZilla, because I just can't even.
We never joke about things that are so serious.
You're amazing. I mean, honestly, you're going to give me something else to watch. But again, I wear two hats. I wear the prudent investment advisor and fiduciary, and then I have this degen crypto hat on that I love sharing with some of my clients that are taking the same path with me. So I'm going to keep an eye on it and just see if there's any opportunity in there for me. I mean, I can only go so far by bringing these ideas to clients.
Listeners, keeping with our theme of running into burning buildings, they don't get much more of a raging inferno than ETHZilla. Or, splitting 10-for-1 last week and then rallying another $4 to $5 just this week. So it's been on a wild run. If you're bored with your crypto investments, then perhaps ETHZilla is your huckleberry. Speaking of the rest of your crypto investments, we'll run through the rest of the altcoin universe and we'll see what else is burning a hole in Bill's wallet these days. Solana looking juicy again, like we said, back north of the par strike. It was right around 187 3/4 on our show last week. 202.12. This week's up a little over 14 handles on the week. So a good little run for Solana. XRP, Bill's favorite, or I should say Bill's wife's favorite, was shy of $2.50 on the show last week, 246. Things were looking kind of dire for XRP, rallying back a little bit this week, 269 when we kicked off the show, up nearly a quarter from where it was this time last week. Dogecoin also looking a little bit better this week, 1980 last week, 20.4 cents this week. Litecoin 94.30 on the show last week, 101.94 as we kicked off the show, up nearly 8 handles, about 764 from where it was this time last week. Cardano, about 66 cents last week, 68 cents this week, up about 2 cents. Polkadot, 307 last week, 320 this week, up a whopping 13 cents. And then everyone's beloved Shiba Inu, a million zeros 10 last week, and it's pretty much the same this week. So kind of treading water out there in Shiba Inu land. But Mr. Bill, it's been a wild week on the crypto front. We've already detailed a lot of burning houses to run into. But that said, anything else burning up your wallet out there these days in the altcoin universe?
Well, my wife and I no longer talk about XRP. We talk about it the same way we talk about our unmet emotional needs, as we try to avoid it.
So is XRP in the same category as like religion and politics around the Ulibarri house? No religion, no politics, and no XRP talk around the dinner table?
Actually, we lean pretty heavy into religion and politics. I'm not going to lie to you. And we're pretty much in the same side of the table. So it's kind of like, what do they call it? Cognitive dissonance, when you just happen to get fed the same stuff that you believe in.
Reinforcing the feedback loop. Yes.
Exactly. This is what's catching my attention now. And again, investment advisors went to this beautiful event in the Sears Tower. Listen to me, the Sears Tower, the Willis Tower, hosted by Bitwise Investments, and they said, with the SEC being still incredibly positive toward cryptocurrency and this new project crypto that the SEC and our administration has, we can look forward to, in the next 3 to 6 months, the following ETFs. Are you ready? Near Protocol, Solana, SWI, Aptos, Chainlink, Hyperliquid, Aave, Cardano, Avalanche, Uniswap, BNB, XP, and Litecoin. These are the tokens that, the approval process for ETFs in the cryptocurrency space, if it wasn't for the government shutdown, these would all have been approved already. So in terms of a regulatory environment, we are in the spring and summer of crypto. And it is absolutely a great time to be alive, because we're going to have so many interesting products to trade and options to trade in every one of our favorite cryptocurrencies and ecosystems. And again, Mark, I think in the next 6 months when we chat, we're going to be blown away at what's available for traders and for investors and speculators for their IRAs, at Fidelity and Schwab and Interactive Brokers, et cetera, et cetera. So the future is so bright, Mark, we have to wear shades.
Yeah, since you're mentioning approving ETFs, I neglected to bring this up, but I have to get your thoughts on this. Since the last time we chatted, just in the last week and change, we saw rumblings of more ETFs and ETPs coming down the road, this time from Vol shares. And they said, 2x leverage, that's for the birds. We're going 3x to 5x levered ETFs. So 3x, a bunch of equities you might trade options on, like your AMDs and your Teslas and your NVIDIAs and all that fun. But also 3x Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, XRP, even VIX, a 3x VIX, which we haven't really seen yet. And then, of course, if that's not doing it for you listeners, how about 5x? How about 5x Bitcoin, 5x ETH, 5x Solana, and 5x XRP? Talk about running into burning houses, Mr. Bill. What are your thoughts on just letting the leverage freak flag fly, sir, in all these ETFs out here, especially on the crypto front?
It scares the heck out of me, Mark. I'll be honest with you. I went from being a Bitcoin maximalist, where you just have to hold on to your Bitcoin in your own cold offline storage solution, to okay, we can own Bitcoin in ETFs, right? So we had IBIT, the Grayscale products, and every other, dozen or so that came on board around January of 2024. But this 3x and 5x stuff, I can't even, I'm too old for this. It's too much. And what's going to happen is what's going to go on a run. Things are going to blow up, and your 3x VIX or your 3x Solana or your 3x Bitcoin is going to become a 1x, just like those, triple beta gold ETF did several years ago, or the 2x and 3x VIX products. They just opened, they stopped trading for a day, and then they came out and they were no longer 3x, or 1x or 1.5x. So I don't know what to say. I'm kind of speechless on this. As if crypto wasn't already volatile enough, you have to add a 5x. You're right. like I don't know what to say. If anything, this is going to blow things up and it's going to hurt people. And back in 1987, we hated that options are weapons of mass destruction, right? Of economic, the derivatives are. And so our industry suffered for decades after the 87 crash, because nobody believed that options really were a thing or had a value. And that's how I kind of feel with these 3X and 5X. Like, something's going to blow up, someone's going to get hurt, a hedge fund, real money, real people, and I don't like that. There's enough on the bone. We don't need 5X and 3X ETFs. That's just me. I get it, but I don't know. You help me understand this. Is this like a Zillennial thing? Like, what is this? Like, who comes up with these ideas?
You got
help me, Mark.
2X, Bill. That's not doing it for anybody anymore. You got to go 3X and beyond. Yeah, 5X. I think you're getting into some dangerous waters out there. But we shall see. It doesn't sound like the administration is too keen to say no to these things. Of course, the government is shut down right now, so that might put some cold water on the approvals, at least for the time being. But yeah, this is wild stuff out here, listeners. If you are new to these markets, then you should definitely dial it back. We joke about running into burning buildings, but definitely 3X, 5X levered ETPs, options on these, not for the faint of heart. Make sure you know exactly what you're getting into. And Bill, I will leave you with this thought, because our chat distracting as always to me while I'm hosting the show. And they put something out there and it kind of just brought a chuckle to my face. This will be it, I think, Bill. When we see this come across the tape, we know we've truly reached peak crypto nonsense, and it's all downhill from here. We have Mr. Unlimited in our chat saying, get ready for the Shiba Inu treasuries. They might be from Zimbabwe, but they will happen. So there we go, Bill. I'm calling it now. When we see the Shiba treasuries hitting the tape, that's it. I'm out. I'm liquidating.
That won the internet, Mark. That won the internet for today.
That did bring us
fabulous.
That was good. I saw that. I was like, okay, that's perhaps a bridge too far, listeners. But maybe you love yourself a little bit of Shiba. I know our chat does. So there you go, listeners. A lot of stuff going on in the crypto derivatives world this week. What are you slinging out there? You slinging good old IBIT? Seems like a lot of you are. 1 million contracts a day. You getting a little bit wilder? Maybe some ETHZilla or some Circle or some Mara. Let us know what you're up to out there. You just ride and spot? Hey, to each their own out there. Hit us up. Let us know. And Mr. Bill, if folks want to check out what you have cooking, maybe they want to run into some burning buildings right alongside you. Where should they go? What should they do?
They should just head over to our website at cenaclecapital.com. That's CENACLE. cenaclecapital.com, or visit, find me on LinkedIn and send me a direct message. And Mark, I'm laughing. I'm wheezing from laughter over that last Shiba Inu Treasury comment, because, one of the most famous movies was Rounders with was it Matt Damon and Ed Norton, and there was always the tell. The tell was right, Malkovich, when he would roll the Oreo cookies or something, that's when he knew he had a winning hand. The tell for the crypto market will be the Shiba Inu Treasury Company.
You've heard it here first.
That will be the sign to get out. And
when that press release hits the tape, then cash it all out, listeners, and maybe build a bunker in your backyard. Of course, I say that. I know you and the wife are probably working on an XRP treasury as we speak, Mr. Bill.
Well, my own firm is doing Bitcoin, some Ethereum, and I'm actually buying Bitcoin treasury company as a part of our treasury company. So we own Metaplanet, CINGF, and I think that's the only, maybe one. But again, I believe in the theory. I believe in the fact that a small business owner like myself can actually hold an asset on my books, just like I can hold real estate or any other business asset, and it be part of the valuation of my firm. And I think that's really an exciting thing. And it beats earning 0.1% at a bank. Bitcoin appreciates at 25 to 35, 40% annually. So, if you're following Michael Saylor, if you're following this thing, we can help you. We can step you through that if you want, if you're a small business owner, Mark. So yes, Mark, you're gonna buy some Bitcoin with the incredible, attractive, juicy profits of the Crypto Rundown show.
There you go.
Option Insider.
There we go. Add more. I already got my wallets overflowing, and now you want me to buy more. Okay, well, I'll see what I can do in between episodes of the show. Meanwhile, listeners, if you want to see what you can do, you know where to go. pro.amberdata.io, the place to go to kick the tires and light the fires. That gets you to that really cool GUI over there. If you're trading this stuff, you should arm yourself with some analytics, listeners, and that is the place to go. A lot of it is free these days. You have no excuse. Amber Data is the place to go to kick the tires and light the fires. That's going to do it for us on the Crypto Rundown. Back again after the closing bell to hold court on yet another wild day. Will another Bitcoin Treasury, will that come out top of the options market today? We'll find out on the Hot Options Report in a few minutes. Yet another reason why you should be subscribed to the full network. Then back again with our usual array of content till we're back again next Monday. Another episode of the Crypto Rundown. Stay safe out there, everybody.
The Crypto Rundown is brought to you by Amber Data. If you're entering the digital asset class, you'll need access to granular on-chain and market data from multiple venues to power research, trading, risk management, and compliance. Amber Data delivers comprehensive data and insights into blockchain networks, crypto markets, and decentralized finance, empowering financial institutions to apply traditional finance methods to digital assets. Amber Data eliminates the infrastructure setup, integration challenges, and maintenance headaches to access digital asset data, reducing cost and time to market to enter the digital asset class. Learn more and download their digital asset data guide at www.amberdata.io. You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com.